AI language models are just incredible. They can write poetry, they can code, they can answer some seriously complex questions. But let's be honest, sometimes they get, well, a little too creative. They confidently just make things up out of thin air. So today, we're going to dive into a brilliant solution that basically gives AI an open book exam, making it smarter, more factual, and a whole lot more reliable.
I'm sure you've seen this happen. You ask what seems like a simple question, and the AI fires back an answer that sounds totally plausible, but it's completely provably wrong. There's a name for this, of course. We call it hallucination, and it's one of the single biggest hurdles in building AI that we can actually trust.
And we're not talking about small mistakes here. Check out this real-world example from the research paper we're digging into today. When a powerful AI was asked about Dante's Divine Comedy, it said the three parts are the Inferno, Purgatorio, and Purgatorio again. I mean, that's pretty funny, right? But it also perfectly shows you the problem. The AI is trying its best to remember something, but it's just getting the facts all scrambled. So what's actually going on here? Well, it's because these standard language models rely only on what's called parametric memory. That's all the knowledge that got absorbed and kind of baked into its internal network, its parameters, during that massive training phase. Basically, it's everything the AI crammed into its brain for the test.
Okay, the best way to really get this is to think about it like an exam. A normal AI is taking a closed book test. It can only use what it managed to memorize. But what if we could give it an open book exam instead? One where it could look up facts from a reliable external source anytime it needed to. That would mean it could access the most up-to-date info, and updating its knowledge would be as simple as just swapping out the textbook. And that, right there, is the big idea behind Retrieval-Augmented Generation, or RAG for short. It's this fantastic approach that combines what the AI has memorized with the power to go and retrieve information from a huge external library, like, say, all of Wikipedia. It's literally giving the AI an open book for its test.
Okay, so how does this actually work? Let's break it down with a simple analogy. Just picture a very smart librarian who's helping out a very capable student. At its heart, the RAG model is basically a two-part system. You've got a retriever whose job is to find the right information, and then you have a generator, and its job is to write the final answer. So here's what happens step by step. First, your question goes to the retriever. That's our librarian. It zips through a giant library of documents to find the bits and pieces that are most relevant. Then, in step 2, those documents, along with your original question, get handed over to the generator, our student. It reads everything and then writes a final, really well-informed answer.
All right, that all sounds great on paper, but does giving the AI an open book actually help? Does it lead to better answers? Well, the researchers put RAG through its paces with some pretty tough tests to find out.
Well, the numbers here really speak for themselves. Across multiple big-time question-answering tests, RAG set a new state-of-the-art. It didn't just beat the giant closed-book models. It even outperformed other open-book models that could only pull out direct quotes. RAG's ability to actually generate new, fluid answers from what it found was the clear winner. Okay, better scores are one thing, but what does that look like in the real world? Can you actually see the difference in the quality of the answers? So let's go back to that Dante question. Remember that? The baseline model gave us that hilarious Purgatorio repeat. Now, look at what the RAG model does. It correctly identifies all three parts: Inferno, Purgatorio, and Paradiso. See, it's not just that it's more accurate, the answer is actually grounded in facts it looked up, not just some fuzzy, half-forgotten memory. And this isn't just about getting basic facts right. The researchers pushed it further. They had to do a creative task: generate Jeopardy questions. Then they asked actual humans to judge the results. And the winner was clear. People overwhelmingly found that RAG's questions were way more factual and way more specific than the ones from the standard closed-book AI. So yeah, being more factual, more specific, that's a huge win. But the real superpower of RAG, the thing that's a total game changer, is how it deals with knowledge itself. I mean, just think about it. The world doesn't stand still, right? New leaders get elected, new discoveries are made every day. A standard AI's knowledge is basically frozen in time. It reflects the world as it was when it was trained. And to update it, you have to do this incredibly expensive and time-consuming retraining from scratch. So that brings up a really fascinating question. With a model like RAG, where all the knowledge is in an external library, could you update an AI's understanding of the world instantly without any retraining at all? And to figure this out, the researchers ran this really clever experiment.
They took a RAG model and they gave it a library that was just a snapshot of Wikipedia from back in December 2016. Then they started asking it questions about world leaders in the year 2018. And the result? Well, as you'd expect, it was a disaster. Since it was relying on totally outdated information, it could only answer the questions correctly about 4% of the time. Just 4%. That's it. But then they did something kind of magical. They didn't retrain the model. They didn't tweak a single parameter. They simply unplugged the old 2016 Wikipedia library and plugged in a fresh one from 2018. They literally just handed the AI a new textbook. And the effect was just wow. With that new library, the model's accuracy shot up to 68%. Just like that. It instantly knew about all the changes in the world simply because its external knowledge source was updated. This is something a traditional AI model could never, ever do.
Okay, so let's tie this all together. Why is this such a big deal? Well, first, it means more trustworthy AI. Because RAG's answers are grounded in real documents, they are way less likely to just make stuff up. Second, they can stay current. Their knowledge isn't stuck in the past. It can evolve as the world does. And finally, it gives us a lot more control. We can actually peek behind the curtain and see the sources the AI used, which gives us a clue into how it's thinking. So, retrieval-augmented generation isn't just a small step forward. It's a really fundamental shift in how we build AIs that need to know about the real world. And that leaves us with a really big question to think about. If an AI's knowledge can be updated, corrected, or even biased in a split second just by changing the library it reads from, what does that mean for the future of automated truth?